the Bible's book of Genesis. In chapter 6, verse 9, begins the story of Noah and the flood, in which God sends a great deluge to cleanse the earth, which has become overrun by sin. It is one of the most well-known tales from the Bible, but curiously, nearly identical stories exist in dozens of other ancient traditions.
We've heard about the flood of Noah, which wiped out that whole generation and brought about a new generation of descendants of Noah. The fact is, there's all these stories of the Great Flood in all countries across the world. Plato talked about Atlantis. He talked about a whole civilization destroyed by floods. In the Bible, Turkey, in Egypt, among the Native Americans, there's a story that the Great Flood wrapped around the entire planet. All life was destroyed. The connection between the biblical story of the Great Flood and the destruction of other societies around the world through floods tell us one thing: there actually was a great flood. And that at one point in the history of this planet, all life was wiped out as the earth was covered in water.
In all mythologies, including the Bible, some gods are coming down and teach the human a great flood will come and destroy you. And this God knew it long before. And they knew it because they themselves made the great flood. The great flood was created by extraterrestrials on purpose.
Could the story of the Great Flood be an historical record of a real event that was brought on by extraterrestrials? But if the ancient astronaut theory is correct, and aliens genetically engineered humankind, why would they then destroy their greatest creation?
We have the records as described in the Book of Enoch and other literature that the Watchers led to the moral corruption of all humanity, which led to the destruction of the face of the earth. They were introducing hidden technologies centuries before they were meant to be introduced. They corrupted the human gene pool.
In Genesis 6, we hear about the sons of God. They see the daughters of men, and they lust after them, and they come down, and they take them as wives. And then they create a hybrid race called the Nephilim. You weren't supposed to fraternize with the natives, but this is what we are told in the Bible. Now, what are we to make of these texts? Are we to say, well, maybe these angels, these sons of God, did they have sex the old-fashioned way? We don't know, but we need to start looking at these stories from a 21st century perspective. With the technology that we have with genetic engineering and splicing genes and what have you, maybe we can revisit this story and look at it from maybe an extraterrestrial hypothesis or point of view. They're creating a hybrid race. The DNA of the off-world intelligence and the human DNA creates this hybrid race. And most of these beings, for better or for worse, had what we could call superhuman powers.
As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, a genetic upgrade occurred, one that closed the gap between mortals and immortals far more quickly than was intended. And it is a story that once again was told across many cultures.
When the sons of God procreated with the daughters of men, it is said that mighty ones were born. They had a longer lifespan as well, dating maybe centuries, up to 1,000 years. Not immortal, but a lifespan much, much longer than ours.